with the Japanese. This is all you guys, because apparently you have watched it, Tatum.
Yeah, I've watched it. Of course I've watched it. Well,
I did too.
Yeah, I've watched it. I watched it it's been a while, but I mean, as far as the changes between like the film and the franchise as a whole, speaking broadly about it, I could talk all day about the specifics, but I like, if they're going to reinvent something, my opinion or my philosophy is reinvent it. Don't just rehash the same old stuff. It should be different. It's a testament to how original and unique and just strong the source material is, that it can support a wide variety of interpretations. And so, but that said, having seen the show and having been a fan of it for a long time, because I'm a big anime fanboy, and you can't get around being an anime fanboy without approaching Eva at some point in your life, because it's a keystone. But I was encouraged to not rewatch it when we did the movie, because you have so much going through your mind already as an actor trying to bring this character to life in your own way, that you don't want to constantly be in the shadow of what's come before. I mean, you want to know that it's out there, and you want to be as, true to it as possible, but you have to find your own way in, or it's going to just sound like mimicry, and that's an insult to everything that's been done. In the same philosophy, if the creator, the originator of the series, is going to do something new, especially when you know them to be so incredibly intelligent and creative, it's disappointing if they come out with something that's just the same thing rehashed, because it's like, this is the same wine, new bottles. Give us something different. Make it relevant in a way now that speaks to why you're making it in the moment. And I love the series because I think just the message overall supports that, and I would love to see it continue to go on. So I love to see a series evolve that way. I'm a big fan of change. I'm all about change, violent change. I'm a fan of Doctor Who, so I've kind of been bred on that. So that's my take on it.
Everything he said, I agree with.
And Trina's just happy that she now exists.
And is awesome, by the way.
Thanks, bruh.
Like that first scene, Meg McFarlane would show all of us once it was recorded, because it was laid down pretty early, and I would come in, he's like, oh my god, you've got to hear this. And before I got to lay down any track, I had to watch that entire scene, and I'm like, holy god, that is awesome. She's like, why?
It's absolutely my favorite character that you have ever voiced. You are incredible.
It is so amazing to hear you in that role.
This is an awesome panel. I really like it.
And you're pretty and you smell nice, too.
Thanks, guys. Okay.
That was a great character. I really enjoyed it. The woman that voiced it in Japan is named... Thank you, Maya Sakamoto. She's like a huge deal. She's like Britney Spears of Japan or something. Big deal, that lady.
So she's in jail?
Britney Spears in jail right now?
I think you're
Well, she should be.
I think you're thinking of the other one. Thank you. All the answers.
It's like an iPhone, right?
You are our Wikipedia.
This week there's somebody new in jail. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we're not in jail. Or, well, I am.
Again.
Pick.
I don't know why.
Pick.
You.
Do you remember your favorite line that you had to do?
Did I talk at all in the movie? You should just stare. This is my favorite line. I'm not done. Actually, I think my favorite reaction to lines was whenever she walks in and says, "Good morning," and everyone freaks out. What's the matter with Ray? She's a completely different person because she said good morning.
There's a bunch of them. There's two scenes. One in particular that I really like is when he's explaining. They're overlooking the red ocean, and he's explaining kind of the backstory of why the ocean is what it is and how he really wanted them to. He's explaining the fishy smell, and that being the smell of life. And I wish you could have known it in the real world. That's a really touching scene for me because that character is so cagey and guarded, and in that rare moment he actually kind of lets his guard down and just lets a little bit of that survivor guilt bleed through, and I think it's very, very poignant, and it was very well written. But I also love this scene, like his first scene when they're having like this total meltdown, and like everyone's like, oh my god, and he's like, yeah, that's your fault, well, good luck, and he just leaves. Like, that was the best moment. It's like, oh, it's all you. Like, that was great. This is such a...
My favorite one, in the whole series of all movies and everything, was, I think it was in Death and Rebirth, the scene over the body. after he does what he does. That's a classic, I think, and sums him up. I'll tell you later.
I'll tell you when you're older.
In 2, I would say it was if I remember correctly, the scene where Mari's on top of him and he's.
That was a funny scene. Mine is I can't say it, but it's the only F-bomb in the show, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, for sure. I go, just like,
Yeah.
just
Hard.
That's my best scream of my life. Like, if I was ever attacked in an alley or something, I feel really bad for whoever I am. You know, like, I'm not going to be able to, like, well, I probably could kick some butt, but, like, can you imagine just having somebody, like, scream like that, like, in your ear?
I mean, when I watched the movie, yes, that happened. In my ear.
That's an excellent point. Sorry about that, guys.
All right, questions. You with the gold stuff. How do we go about preparing for characters?
Did you want to start or you want me to start?
I get out of bed.
I look at my bank balance and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going in today. No, no. We have to work really, really fast, and so there isn't a lot of time because it's just we have to put it out there so quickly. And a skill set you learn to develop very, very quickly is to be able to kind of fly by the seat of your pants and take direction like that, because it's on the director to tell you, okay, this is what I want, this is the subtext, this is that, this is the other, and you just have to respond to it and be able to do it without a lot of prep time. Which is interesting. It's a great skill set to have, but because we don't have the luxury of time, we don't often get to do a great deal of research. In the case of Ava, of course, it's a huge franchise, so having already known a little bit about it from being a fanboy, I could bring that in there, but then having to let that go because the director's like, forget everything you know, we're doing this. But often, with anything, it's really just, you kind of go and sometimes you don't even know who you're playing until you show up. If you go on an audition, we typically audition for several characters in the show, and when they call you in, the casting director will say, cool, just come in, you've got 4 hours with Mike on Thursday, be here at like 8. And so you go and you're like, well, who did I get? And it may be someone you didn't even audition for. Maybe the director just heard you. So you have to just be able to go in and just do it. And that's why, the director is so key because, again, as actors, we don't record together. We record separately, often weeks apart. So sometimes there's always the first person that has to record in a vacuum. No one else is tracked. All you have is the Japanese to go on. And so the director is vital. The director, in my opinion, plays the rest of the cast, at least mentally, for the actor in the booth. And so a good director and a good engineer is what brings it all together. And basically how you prepare is just know who you're about to go in for and go, all right, I trust this person and I know they're going to get me there, and just do what they tell you. So that's how I prepare.
Well, I want to piggyback on that real fast. Because what he said, we have to improv,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Absolutely.
And then once you improv, whatever character it is, you have to sustain that character through the whole thing. And with Shinji, originally, yes, I did a lot of work on getting to where that is. And I've done it so many times that it's really not that hard to get back into it. And that's really pretty much it. I mean, I could say different things that I've said over the course of time about how I got into it, but not here. You're all too young.
Oh, I get it. I get it. What Tatum said.
Let's just say that for the rest of the thing. We'll sit here
I'm just going to stand back
No,
here.
I love it. It was perfect. I was just like, yes.
It's great.
Yes. I also turn off the lights. I mean,
There you go.
normally I like the lights on in general, but in the booth I turn the lights off.
I do that sometimes too. It's helpful, especially in
It's
the big
great.
glass ones when they can see you. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to turn this off because don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
Don't watch me.
For me, I tend to use more of like I really like the Michael Chekhov technique because it's more of an abstract form of acting, and it helps in that sort of improvisational feeling because you really are just completely improvising this character because you don't know much about it in the beginning. And so I like to think a lot about the physicality of that character and all that. But especially in the case of Evangelion, it was pretty much 100% just relying on Mike, the director, on Mike McFarland. I really did just... My voice was in his hands. So if you like my performance at all, thank Mike. Because I pretty much had nothing to do with it.
And let me say one thing about McFarlane. I love that guy. But trying to do a serious scene right after you've done a lot of spit takes because he's making you laugh so damn hard is kind of difficult. He's like, okay, you're just dying, you're rolling on the floor. He's like, okay, let's do this thing. You're like,
Mike is a very, very funny man, and he's very dry about it. He will say the most hilariously inappropriate things with a completely straight face. And you're like, are you serious? No, that's a joke. I don't, and you laugh out of nervousness and everything else. But if he feels you're working too fast and too good, he will screw you up. So, like, because we have, like, cue beeps, and for me, particularly, he does this all the time. We have cue beeps, and you hear, like, 3 beeps, metrical, and then on the imaginary 4th beep is when you come in. It's just how we keep ourselves timed. And he will often come in, and he'll have, like, the engineer replace the beeps with something like, boobies, boobies, boobies. So that's what you hear, and you're like... and you look out, and he's like, what's the problem? He loves to bust our chops, especially...
He never does that to me, I have to say. He's never done anything like that to me.
He does it to me all the time, my God.
Maybe I'm not good enough.
Or after take, do you ever get the, yeah, we'll accept that. The acting meter, the needle on the acting meter twitched. I guess we can take it.
It's like, marginal.
Minimally exceptional. I suppose that's as good as we're going to get. Let's move on. Like, he loves to say things like that.
yeah, ours are much dirtier. Much. Did you ever get this one?
Beep, beep, beep.
Yes, and often it's real. We're like, beep, beep,
You with the blue face.
There's a blue face.
Our first reaction when we started doing Evangelion. Yay! I got a job.
That's the typical reaction of any actor when we get cast in anything.
it worked!
Wait, eat this month.
I like eating.
It really doesn't get much deeper than that, unless maybe.
It was really, I mean, for me, because I was a big fan of the series as a whole, and, never thought I'd ever be involved in it because, it's been done. Getting the chance to be a part of it was amazing. So I did little cartwheels when I got told that I was coming in to record on it, and I didn't know who I was going to play till I showed up. I was like, yay! That was fun. That was my first reaction.
Were there little anime cartwheels?
Little anime cartwheels, yeah, with little subtitles.
He actually turned into his chibi form, and then...
His mouth got this big.
Giant head, teardrop, sweat bead.
I was stoked when I found out.
Yeah, because they actually had... Because I actually didn't audition for Ray, he just cast me. And then they did some pretty hardcore auditions for Mario. That was a really hard one to get.
Yeah, it was really hard. So it's awesome that I got it, and I was amazed, and the right person got it.
Okay, wait, take it back.
And she's so modest, too.
Totally kidding.
So
No,
close.
it's a huge deal. Like, I didn't think I would get it at all. Like, I went in, and there, when you go into the front desk, there's like a list of what booth you're supposed to go to that I always have to refer to. Because I can never remember where I'm supposed to go. Anyways, so there was this list, and it'll show like all of whoever's going to be like their time for their audition and stuff. And like I looked at the first day, and I was like somewhere in the middle, and there were maybe like 30 girls. And then like I looked at the next day, and there were like more, and then there's like more on the other one. I was like, well, this is a waste of time. I hope I get to eat some pad thai for lunch. That'll be good. And like I went in. Then we went and had some pho or pad thai. No, I think it was pho. And then I got the part. It was really good. And
How was the fun?
phenomenal.
Beautiful, talented, and funny. Wow, how do you have any right to exist?
Oh, you would
A knock-knock joke. Tell us a knock-knock joke.
No, I can't tell that here.
Okay, I'll tell a joke. I'll tell a joke just to make that. Okay, Trina, you have to ask me what the secret of comedy is. In the mic.
Doesn't that kind of...
Hey man, I got a question for you. What's the secret?
Timing.